break of a fortnight, Red Stripe Football Monday is returning to the screens of Sportsmax 2 tonight with a Casafa battle between Giants, Cavalier and Tivoli Gardens. Tivoli Gardens, 5-time champions of the Premier League. They're on the road tonight at the Stadium East against the Cavalier team that have made the playoffs 2 years in a row and looking to make it 3 years in a row that they'll make the playoffs. It's going to be a big match tonight, and it's cool conditions here at the Stadium East.
And these two teams are hoping for a spot in the playoffs. And of course, the journey begins here this evening. My name is Shawana Ebanks, welcoming you to the pregame show for Red Stripe Football Mondays. And I know my face is not that familiar to the team, but get used to it because I'll be here for a little while. Of course, two faces that you'd be more familiar with are Donald Oliver and Lance Whitaker. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Shawana.
Yes, and we're happy to have you, Shawana. And it's going to be a big game tonight. As we said, these are two big names in the history of Casafa football. Cavalier were champions back in 1981. They've only won it once. Tivoli Gardens have been champions 5 times, so they know what it is to be champions. But at the moment, neither of these teams guaranteed a playoff spot.
Absolutely, and the last time they met, Tivoli Gardens defeated Cavalier 3-2. What are you expecting here tonight?
Well, it's a hard one to call because twice they've played so far this season. Tivoli won both of them. Last season they met 3 times and Cavalier won all 3. So I'm not sure what's in store for us tonight, but I'm expecting a good game.
Now, before we get more into what's going to happen here tonight, as you mentioned in your introduction, the Red Stripe Premier League returned this week after a 2 weeks break. Let's take a look at the results from Sunday.
Yeah, good results there for a few teams. Vere United continuing to struggle at the bottom of the table. They were 1-1 with Dunbeholden, who are now winless in their last 3 matches after securing a playoff position earlier on in January. Mount Pleasant, they've found their winning boots back on, and they were 3-0 winners over UWI. Waterhouse, undefeated now in 6 games with a 1-0 victory over Humberland, who lost their 3-game winning streak that they had in January, and there was a 2-2 result between Arnett Gardens and Malines. So Malines struggling as well because they started out well, but they have gone off the boil and right now struggling to stay in the top flight.
Now let's take a look at how these results has affected the table, Donald.
Yeah, Malines United, they're inching closer away, aren't they? They are probably, 9 points ahead of the relegation zone at the moment. UWI and Vere United, they're in pretty big trouble. At the top, of course, Waterhouse on 50 points, 3 ahead of Mount Pleasant. Portmore United in 3rd spot, and of course, Humble Lion in 4th at the moment. But you see the battle between 7th and 8th tonight. Tivoli Gardens against Cavalier, both needing those 3 points in order to try and move up the table. Won't get into the top 6 with victory, I think, unless it's a really big win. Well, there is an outside chance of them actually getting into the top 6, but let's see exactly how that happens. But yeah, it's a big match tonight between both of them.
Of course, only the top 6 teams will qualify for the playoffs, and it has been a pretty evenly contested head-up between Cavalier and Tivoli Gardens as we take a look at their results over the years.
Yeah, over the last 4 matches, we're seeing 2 Tivoli results there, September and December 2019. Those were this season matches, Tivoli winning both, 2-0 and 3-2. Last season, just 2 of the results of the 3 that they had last year, and Cavalier winning both of those, 3-0 and 1-0. And before that, there was a Cavalier win as well. So in the last 5 meetings, we have had 3 Cavalier wins, 2 Tivoli Gardens wins, and tonight is an opportunity for the Tivoli team to even things out.
Now, considering the head-to-head, Donald, what does Cavalier need to do tonight to get victory?
They have to do a few things right, but they've lost a couple of their attacking players from last season, Alex Marshall and Nicholas Hamilton, who are now overseas. Well, Hamilton, we suspect he's going to be going to Canada sometime during the course of this week as his work permit has come through. But the style that they play, the players who would come in for them will fit into that style because they like playing the ball around and they like to attack. And of course, this win is a must for them. It's a virtual 6-pointer. They need the 3 points in order to have a chance for them to be into the top 6 and maintain that spot as well.
Right, and Lance, Tivoli Gardens, they have lost some momentum since January. What do they need to do tonight?
Well, I think Tivoli Gardens, being the away team, would want to come to
we are ready.
The role is to continue to drive for the development of the game here. Although players are selected from clubs abroad, they were developed in the league.
They're really quality players and they have really good attitude and you get your money's worth.
It would save you hundreds of dollars this year and thousands of dollars over your lifetime. Here's how Honey works. This is
Actually, 3:30 ECT.
Thank you, Donald.
Yeah, no problem.
See why you're here?
Just about 22 minutes away from the kickoff. Red Stripe Football Monday is returning with Cavalier at home to Tivoli Gardens. It's lights, camera, and action for the rebirth of the Red Stripe Premier League football action on Mondays on the home of champions.
Red Stripe Premier League champion, boy.
You wait for you.
Tivoli defender to electrify the crowd. Look at this piece of play. I'm gone.
Stadium East football field in St. Andrew. We are on Mountain View Avenue to be exact for Red Stripe Football Monday. Cavalier FC welcome Tivoli Gardens FC. And if you are just joining us, my name is Shawana E. Banks. Now, Donald and Lance, they have left, but Donald, he has a little something for you about the club profile.
Thank you very much, Shawana. Yeah, Cavalier, of course, one of the stalwarts of the Premier League over the years. And they, of course, were founded in 1962 and they won in 1981. Of course, that's their only title. They are located in the parish of St. Andrew. Of course, last season they made it through the playoffs and in particular into the semi-final. But this year they'll be hoping to go one better and probably two better as they aim for that RSPL crown. Cavalier FC, pretty much a young squad, this Cavalier football club. Of course, they have lost many players, but they see the prodigal son return, and he's in goal. J. Dean White, an outstanding schoolboy footballer over the years, has made the transition to the senior level very well. Of course, he has represented Jamaica a couple of times as well, J. Dean White, and of course, they welcome him after his little stint at Humble Lion in Clarendon. And yeah, I guess he's happy to be back here. Of course, Messi Marsh, that's what they call him, but his right name, Chevon Marsh. He's a captain of this football club. And of course, he's an outstanding youngster, but you want him to be a little bit more consistent, right? He has quite a few goals to his name so far this season. I believe he has 9 to his name so far this season, Chevon Marsh. And of course, a lot is expected of him, especially with the absence of one Alex Marshall and Nicholas Hamilton.
Rudolph Speed, of course, in charge of this Cavalier team, as he has been for many years now. And Shawana Banks spoke to him pre-game.
Rudolph, regardless of having some of the biggest victory margin this season, you haven't been able to maintain that. Are you leading towards an attacking game tonight?
Oh, we're always attacking, but you know, we changed at least 9 players from last year's team, so it's a process. We are very inconsistent.
And speaking of always attacking, you've lost 2 of your better attackers in Alex Marshall and Nicholas Hamilton to an overseas move. How will that affect the team?
Oh, and you lose also Kaim Paris, and it does affect us tremendously because that was 2/3 of my attack, actually not here anymore. But we have some quality young players. You're going to see them on show tonight, and I'm sure they're ready to fill the breach.
Who are some of the players you're looking to? Oh,
well, young Dwayne Atkinson. He's playing like he was born here. Then we have Renaldo Webster. We have Marlanda Maxwell, all teenagers. Allen, all teenagers. So today we are feeling a team that 8 players are under the age of 21 and only 3 players is over. So very young team.
Now you have lost some of your players due to transfer. Tell us about how the window has benefited you.
Well, we've also brought in some young players too. We decided that we were going to go full. We are trying to rebuild this year. Getting to the playoffs is a bonus, but we are committed to rebuilding and probably keep these players for another year. So it will affect us, and that is why we are so inconsistent, but we hope to get there before the season's finished.
Now, in the last meeting against Tivoli Gardens, you lost 3-2. What's the approach to winning tonight?
Oh, well, our tactics, and I have to take the blame, was wrong in the first half. We're 3-0 under at the end of the first half, but in the second half we play differently. So it's not going to be so easy tonight.
Yeah, but it's going to be difficult against a Tivoli Gardens team. They started off, well, not the best this season, did they, Tivoli Gardens? They were founded in 1970. Of course, they're located in West Kingston. Last season, a disappointing 7th by any standard, but in particular, their standard. And of course, they have 5 RSPL titles starting from 1983. Of course, their last title was back in 2011. And Lance, quite a few players to watch for Tivoli Gardens, and in particular, their number 3, Davian Garrison, the holding midfielder who has some 5 goals to his name.
Yeah, joint leading scorer with the veteran Newton Sterling. They're the leading scorers. Davian Garrison, of course, played well for the UWI when they came up to the top flight 4 years ago, transferred this year to this Tivoli Gardens team, and he's been getting a lot of goals for them. There's Newton Sterling, as he said, joint leading scorer for the Tivoli Gardens team, a transfer from Arnett Gardens. Sterling, 35 years old now, but big, strong, and very potent, and deadly in the box, and strikes, as you saw there, with a pretty mean left footer. The go-to man with free kicks outside the box. Newton Sterling, a Caribbean Cup winner for Jamaica in 2005. Edson Scott is now one of the coaches at the Tivoli Gardens team, and here's what he said to Shawana Banks half an hour ago.
Thank you so much, Lance and Donald. Now, you had the momentum going for you in January with 3 straight wins, but you lost 2 games after that. What should we read into that?
No, I just think, yeah, we won 3 games in January, and then we have a hiccup against Mount Pleasant. But I think the break will help us regroup, refocus, and we have a chance to get in the top 6 tonight.
Speaking of that 2 weeks break, you said it will help you to regroup and refocus, but what are some of the other things that you have done during the break?
Yeah, we got the guys to focus. We'll go, train very well for the past 2 weeks, and I think they will do a good show tonight.
With the transfer window just closing, how has it benefited you, or not benefited you?
Yeah, we're bringing some young players. Some players left, and we're bringing some young players to help. We think could help the group. Various clubs we get in, and then I think youngsters from Stats. We bring in youngsters from Brownstown, Major League. So we will get. I think we're bringing youngsters to help the group. We are a very young group now, from the beginning from the season, and I think they will do a good performance tonight.
Speaking of putting on a good performance tonight, the last time you met, you came out on top. Surely that's the goal again tonight.
Yeah, as I said before, we got a chance to get in the top 6 from all season. We never start the season well. We bring in Admiral Bailey to help us, and we steady the ship. So get the 3 points tonight, get in the top 6, and take it from there.
Gardens are hoping for a top 6 finish. Let's take a look now on some La Liga action on Sportsmax 2. That is Saturday at 3 p.m. for ECT. Levante playing Real Madrid. And the Champions League round of 16 begins on Tuesday, 2:30 p.m., 3:30 ECT, when Borussia Dortmund play PSG. And we have Tottenham Hotspur playing RB Leipzig Wednesday at 2:30, 3:30 ECT on Sportsmax 2. We're going to take a break, but stick and stay right here on the Home of Champions. When we return, we hear from the finalists, and of course, we have kickoff. We'll be right back.
Round of 16 action in the Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League begins on Tuesday, February 18th. And Flow Sports will hop over to Kingston, Jamaica, where the Caribbean's only flag bearer will be in action. Jamaica and Caribbean champions Portmore United will face the acid test when they come up against one of Mexico's finest, the 6-time winners Cruz Azul, in a first leg encounter starting at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Jamaica time. So make it a date. Tuesday, February 18th at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Jamaica time. Portmore United versus Cruz Azul in the Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League.
Red stripe, watch out, man, shall I better forward, boy. Red stripe, Premier League champion, boy, score. Every goal when I run from, boy. Red stripe, Premier League champion, boy, now. Back down, we run the marathon, boy. The Red stripe, Premier League champion, boy, yeah, yeah.
Red Stripe Premier League Football Monday return to your Home of Champions, and we are live from Stadium East as Cavalier Football Club take on Tivoli Gardens Football Club in a mid-table clash, with both teams hoping to make it to the playoffs this season. I am Shawana Ebanks, welcoming you back to the Home of Champions. We're going to turn our attention now and hear from the finalists. Of course, we love to hear from the fans, and they always have a lot to say. So take it away, fans.
I'm Nicholas Hamilton. Tonight I'm a fan of Cavaliers, and I've been a Cavalier player for the past 10 years. I'm here supporting my team tonight. I got to look out for players like Chevron Marsh, and Ronaldo Webster, Dwayne Atkinson. We are going to win this game 3-0, Cavaliers for life.
Tivoli Garden FC supporter. Oogie, them call me as a flagman, you know. 20 years and more, I support Tivoli Garden. My team, big team, from long time, 5-star general. We go for the 6-star, we make top 6 tonight. 3 we are drop. Tivoli Garden FC, big up.
So both fans are very confident, and if you're a fan watching from home, be sure to head over to our social media pages and give us your prediction and rep your team. This is where I say goodbye from the pregame show. I'm going to turn you over now to Donald Oliver and Lance Whitaker as they will take you through this game. Enjoy.
Well, we've been waiting on the return of football, and in particular football from the Red Stripe Premier League, and we're on the lights here at the National Stadium East Field. It's not a big crowd right now, but they know a number of the stars who will be on show. Veterans, some of them, and rising stars, others. And we anticipate a really good encounter between the home team Cavalier and the Tivoli Gardens FC. They would have seen quite a few interesting matches between these two teams over the years. And Tivoli Gardens, they have come to the fore on a number of occasions, having won the Premier League title on 5 occasions. Cavalier, they're still trying to add to that one title, but with the group of youngsters, can they get the better of an experienced Tivoli Gardens team? Both teams, of course, they're aiming to make it to the playoffs, but they do have some work to do. The battle between 7th and 8th, and they need the 3 points tonight in order to move up the table and stake a claim for the playoff spot. So much to look forward to as the youngsters hope to ply their wares on the field of play here at the Stadium East. And as I mentioned before, the veterans, in particular Newton Sterling, who hopes to make his mark off the bench if necessary. A team that started off pretty slowly this season will be hoping to do better and get better as the competition progresses. But we are moments away from the walkout. My name is Donald Oliver. With me is Lance Whitaker. What are you expecting from this game?
A difficult game to call, Donald, because these two teams have been a little bit unsteady all season. Tivoli displaying a little bit better form in recent weeks than this Cavalier team. They have won 3 of their last 5, this Tivoli Gardens team, whereas the Cavalier team, they have won just 1 of their last 5. But there's not a lot between these two teams. I think Cavalier would be hamstrung tonight by the absence of 2 of their most prolific goal scorers in Alex Marshall and Nicholas Hamilton. They scored 10 and 11 goals respectively last year and were by far Cavaliers' leading scorers. They are both in receipt of contracts to play in the Canadian Premier League. The Wanderers team securing Alex Marshall, and York 9 getting a hold of Nicholas Hamilton, who is still here. He hasn't travelled yet, but I think we've seen the last of him for the Cavalier team. As you saw in the panelists, he's now a fan and giving support to the Cavalier team.
There was some talk that he may have played tonight, but the work permit came through probably around 90 minutes ago. And so York 9 from Canada, they say, no, do not take the field. We want you fully fit, and they would not want to take a chance on their new signee playing against Tivoli Gardens tonight. And so with that out of the way, the players who remain will now do battle. It's a matchup that we've seen before over the years, keenly contested with goals. Both teams passionate. But as far as being on the age spectrum, this is a young bunch, while on the left, in the orange, the veterans. Usually scripts write themselves, but we have no idea how this will turn out this evening. But one thing we know, that it should be a contest between these two teams as we pause for the playing of the national anthem.